Hey kids, today we're going on an exciting journey through our solar system. Fasten your seatbelts because we're about to blast off on an adventure that's sure to be out of this world. Our solar system is like a giant neighborhood in space with a star, planets, and tons of other cool stuff. We're going to learn about all of it, from the biggest planets to the rockiest asteroids. Get ready to explore. We'll learn about the sun and all the amazing planets that orbit around it. Some are rocky, some are gassy, and some are so cold they'll make your teeth chatter. But don't worry, we'll be exploring from the comfort of our spaceship Earth. Let's go. First stop, the sun. The sun is a star, and it's the biggest thing in our solar system. It's so big that it takes up 99.8% of all the mass in our solar system. That's like having a giant beach ball surrounded by tiny grains of sand. The sun is a giant ball of hot gases, mostly hydrogen and helium. Deep inside the sun, these gases undergo nuclear fusion, which releases a tremendous amount of energy. That energy travels all the way to Earth as light and heat. Without the sun, there would be no life on Earth. It provides the energy that plants need to grow, and we need plants for food and oxygen. The sun also keeps our planet warm enough for liquid water, which is essential for all living things. So, let's give a big thank you to the sun. Now let's talk about size. The sun is enormous. It's so big that about 1.3 million Earths could fit inside it. Imagine trying to wrap your arms around something that big. To give you an idea of just how enormous the sun is, think about this. If the sun were a giant pumpkin, Earth would be about the size of a sesame seed. That's a pretty big pumpkin. And even though the sun looks incredibly bright and close, it's actually really far away from Earth. It's about 93 million miles away. That's like driving around the Earth almost 400,000 times. So, the next time you see the sun in the sky, remember just how big and powerful it really is. It's the star of our solar system, and we're lucky to have it. Next stop on our solar system adventure, Mercury. This little planet is the closest one to the sun. It's like the first house on the block in our solar system neighborhood. Now because Mercury is so close to the sun, it's incredibly hot. During the day, temperatures on Mercury can reach a scorching 800 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt lead. But here's the wild part. At night, temperatures on Mercury plummet to minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a temperature swing of over 1,000 degrees. Talk about extreme weather. Mercury is also the smallest planet in our solar system. It's only a little bit bigger than our moon. But don't let its size fool you. Mercury is one speedy little planet. It zips around the sun faster than any other planet, completing one orbit in just 88 Earth days. That means a year on Mercury is only 88 Earth days long. Imagine celebrating your birthday that often. Now, even though Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, it's not actually the hottest. That title goes to Venus, but we'll get to that later. Stay tuned for more amazing facts about our solar system. And next on our journey through the solar system, we encounter Venus. Now, Venus is often called Earth's twin, and you know what? There are some reasons why. Venus and Earth are very similar in size. If you put them side by side, they'd look pretty close. And not just that, their gravity is pretty similar too. But don't let that fool you into packing your bags for a trip to Venus just yet. Venus, my friends, is a scorching hot planet, even hotter than Mercury, which is closer to the sun. You know what else? A day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus. That's right, it takes Venus longer to rotate once on its axis than it does to orbit the sun. How wild is that? So why is Venus such a hothead? Well, it's all about the atmosphere. See, Venus has this super thick atmosphere made up mostly of carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. And greenhouse gases, well, they trap heat from the sun. Think of it like this. Imagine a car parked out in the sun with all the windows rolled up. The sunlight gets in, but the heat can't escape. That's kind of what's happening on Venus, but on a much larger planetary scale. This is called a runaway greenhouse effect, and it's a good reminder of why we need to be mindful of greenhouse gases here on Earth. And now, for the star of our show, the planet we call home Earth. From space, Earth looks like a beautiful blue marble, and that's because nearly 3/4 of our planet is covered in water. That's a lot of H2O. And speaking of water, Earth is in what scientists call the Goldilocks zone. That means it's at just the right distance from the sun, not too hot, not too cold, but just right for liquid water to exist. And as we all know, water is essential for life. Earth's atmosphere also plays a key role in making it habitable. It's like a protective blanket that shields us from harmful radiation from the sun and helps regulate our planet's temperature. And of course, let's not forget about Earth's magnetic field, which acts like a giant force field protecting us from those charged particles streaming from the sun. It's pretty amazing when you think about all the factors that had to come together perfectly to make Earth such a great place for life to thrive. From its perfect distance from the Sun to its life-sustaining atmosphere, Earth is one special planet. Next stop on our cosmic adventure, Mars. Now, Mars is a planet that really captures the imagination, and it's no wonder why. With its rusty red surface, it's often called the Red Planet. But why is Mars red, you ask? Well, it's because of iron oxide. Yep, the same stuff that makes rust here on Earth. See, Mars's surface is covered in iron-rich rocks, and over billions of years the iron reacted with oxygen in the atmosphere, creating iron oxide, which gives Mars that distinctive red hue. Pretty cool, right? Now, Mars is much colder than Earth, and its atmosphere is much thinner. But here's the thing about Mars. There's evidence that Mars wasn't always the cold, dry desert it is today. Scientists believe that billions of years ago, Mars may have been much warmer and wetter, with rivers, lakes, and maybe even oceans. And where there's water, as we know, there could be life. That's why scientists are so excited about exploring Mars and searching for signs of past or even present life. Who knows what secrets we might uncover on the Red Planet. And now, for a planet that's truly ginormous. That's right, explorers, we're blasting off to Jupiter, the biggest planet in our entire solar system. This gas giant is so massive that it could fit all the other planets inside it and still have room to spare. Imagine that. To give you an idea of just how big Jupiter is, picture this. If our sun were the size of a basketball, Jupiter would be like a marble rolling around it. And get this, you could line up 11 Earths across Jupiter's equator. That's huge! But size isn't the only thing that makes Jupiter fascinating, but it's not just about size with Jupiter. This planet is a treasure trove of mysteries and wonders. Oh no, this gas giant is full of surprises. Its atmosphere is a swirling, stormy wonderland, with winds that can reach up to 400 miles per hour. For starters, it's spinning like a top. Jupiter has the fastest rotation in the solar system. While Earth takes a leisurely 24 hours to rotate, Jupiter zooms around in just under 10 hours. This rapid rotation causes the planet to bulge at the equator and flatten at the poles. Can you imagine having a day that short? It would be like living in fast forward. You'd barely have time for a nap, and think about how quickly the sun would rise and set. Now take a look at that. One of Jupiter's most famous features is its Great Red Spot. That, my friends, is Jupiter's famous Great Red Spot. This gigantic storm has been raging for centuries. It's a colossal storm, a swirling vortex of clouds bigger than our entire planet Earth. Imagine a storm so big it could swallow Earth whole. Scientists believe this storm has been raging for hundreds of years. Some even think it could be over 350 years old. Talk about a case of the Mondays. Imagine dealing with a storm that never ends. Jupiter is a fascinating world of swirling clouds, powerful storms, and mind-boggling size. Its atmosphere is a dynamic and ever-changing place. It's a reminder that there's so much more to discover in our vast and wondrous solar system. Each planet has its own unique story to tell. But for now, buckle up, explorers, because we're off to our next adventure. Who knows what other incredible sights and phenomena await us in the cosmos? Hold on to your space helmets, adventurers, because Jupiter isn't just about its impressive size and stormy weather. This gas giant has a lot more going on than meets the eye. Oh no, Jupiter has a secret weapon: moons! And not just any moons, but a staggering collection that makes it one of the most fascinating planets in our solar system. And not just a few, we're talking a whopping 79 and counting moons orbiting this giant planet. Each one has its own story, its own mysteries, and its own potential for discovery. One of the most famous is Europa, a moon covered in ice. But don't let that icy exterior fool you. Now, what's so special about ice, you ask? Well, it's not just any ice. This ice could be hiding something truly extraordinary. Well, scientists believe that beneath Europa's icy surface lies a vast ocean of liquid water, possibly even twice the amount of water found on Earth. Imagine an entire ocean, hidden beneath a thick shell of ice, teeming with possibilities, and where there's water, there could be life. This makes Europa one of the most exciting places to search for extraterrestrial life in our solar system. Then there's Ganymede, the largest moon in our entire solar system. It's a giant among moons with some truly unique features. It's even bigger than the planet Mercury. Just imagine, a moon that's larger than an entire planet. Ganymede has its own magnetic field, which is pretty rare for a moon. This magnetic field could tell us a lot about the moon's interior and its history. It's like its own mini-planet, orbiting a giant planet. Ganymede's magnetic field and size make it a fascinating object of study for scientists. Jupiter and its moons are like a mini solar system of their own, full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Each moon adds a piece to the puzzle of understanding our solar system. Each moon is unique and full of potential for amazing discoveries. From volcanic activity to subsurface oceans, the moons of Jupiter are a treasure trove of scientific wonders. So, keep your eyes peeled and your minds open, space explorers, because the universe is full of surprises. The more we learn about Jupiter and its moons, the more we realize how much there is still to discover. Get ready to be dazzled, explorers, because we're about to visit the solar system's crown jewel, Saturn. This magnificent gas giant is known for its spectacular rings, and trust me, they are truly a sight to behold. Imagine this. Billions of pieces of ice and rock ranging in size from tiny grains of sand to massive chunks bigger than houses, all swirling around Saturn like a giant cosmic disco ball. That's what Saturn's rings are like. But here's the thing about Saturn's rings that'll make your jaw drop. They're incredibly thin. If you could somehow shrink yourself down to the size of a pebble and fly through Saturn's rings, you might not even notice them. That's because despite their vast width, they're only about 30 feet thick. These rings aren't just there for show though. Scientists believe they formed from the remnants of comets, asteroids, or even shattered moons that got a little too close to Saturn's powerful gravity. Talk about a cosmic demolition derby. While Saturn's rings steal the show, don't let them distract you from the fact that Saturn itself is one fascinating planet. It's the second largest planet in our solar system, second only to Jupiter, and it's mostly made up of, you guessed it, gas. Speaking of gas, did you know that Saturn is less dense than water? That's right. If you could find a bathtub big enough to hold this gas giant, it would actually float. Of course, finding a bathtub that size might be a bit of a challenge. And just like Jupiter, Saturn has its own entourage of moons. We're talking a whopping 82 moons and counting. That's right, 82 moons, each with its own unique characteristics and secrets waiting to be uncovered. One of the most intriguing moons is Titan, which has a thick atmosphere and even lakes and rivers on its surface. But here's the catch. These lakes and rivers aren't filled with water. They're filled with liquid methane. Now that's what I call an alien landscape. And now, get ready to make a sharp turn, because we're heading to Uranus, the seventh planet from the Sun. This distant world is a fascinating place, full of mysteries and unique characteristics that set it apart from the other planets in our solar system. Uranus is a real oddball in our solar system. Unlike any other planet, it has a peculiar way of spinning, and an unusual composition that makes it stand out. Why, you ask? Well, imagine a top spinning on its side. That's Uranus. This sideways spin is one of the most intriguing aspects of the planet. Most planets spin like tops with their north pole pointing up, but Uranus is tilted on its side. This tilt gives Uranus its unique seasonal changes and affects its weather patterns in ways we are still trying to understand. Scientists think that a long time ago something really big might have crashed into Uranus, knocking it off kilter. This colossal impact could have been responsible for its extreme axial tilt. And talk about a long day. It takes Uranus 84 Earth years to orbit the Sun. This means that each season on Uranus lasts for about 21 Earth years. Can you imagine having a birthday party every 84 years? That would be one long wait for cake and presents. Now, Uranus is an ice giant, which means it's not a solid rocky planet like Earth or Mars. Instead, it has a thick atmosphere and a composition that includes a lot of icy materials. Instead, it's mostly made up of swirling fluids like water, methane, and ammonia. These elements create a dynamic and ever-changing environment on the planet. These fluids are incredibly cold, some of the coldest in our solar system. The temperatures can drop to a frigid -224 degrees Celsius, making it one of the coldest places in our solar system. And speaking of cold, did you know that Uranus has rings too? These rings are faint and dark, composed of particles that are difficult to see from Earth. They're not as bright or as big as Saturn's rings, but they're there. These rings add another layer of mystery to this already enigmatic planet. Scientists think these rings are made up of ice and dust, left over from some cosmic collisions a long time ago. These remnants tell a story of a turbulent past, and help us understand the history of our solar system. Now, when we look at Uranus through a telescope, it has this really cool blue-green color. Have you ever wondered why? Well, it's all thanks to methane gas in its atmosphere. Methane is a gas that's really good at absorbing red light from the sun. So, when sunlight hits Uranus, the methane gas gobbles up all that red light, and what's left over? You guessed it, blue and green light, which is what we see. Uranus is pretty far away from Earth, so we haven't sent that many spacecraft to visit. But, back in 1986, the Voyager 2 spacecraft flew past Uranus and took some amazing pictures. We learned so much from that flyby, like the fact that Uranus has a faint ring system and a bunch of moons. Speaking of moons, Uranus has at least 27 that we know of. They're named after characters from the works of William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope, which I think is pretty neat. Some of the moons are covered in ice, while others are rocky and cratered. And get ready to be blown away because we're about to reach Neptune, the 8th and farthest planet in our solar system. Neptune is known for its incredible blue color and the fact that it's a real stormy place. We're talking about winds that can reach over 1,200 miles per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. Can you imagine trying to fly a kite on Neptune? It would be gone in a flash. Scientists think these super-fast winds are caused by the extreme temperature difference between Neptune's upper and lower atmosphere. Just like Uranus, Neptune is an ice giant, which means it's mostly made up of swirling fluids like water, methane, and ammonia. And just like Uranus, Neptune gets its blue color from methane gas in its atmosphere. But Neptune's blue is a bit deeper and more intense. Some scientists think this might be because Neptune has other gases mixed in with its atmosphere that we haven't quite figured out yet. Isn't it exciting to think that there are still so many mysteries out there in space? Now, Neptune might look calm and serene from a distance, but don't let that fool you. It's actually a very active planet. In fact, back in 1989, the Voyager 2 spacecraft observed a giant storm on Neptune that was so big, it could have swallowed the entire Earth. They called it the Great Dark Spot, and it was similar to Jupiter's Great Red Spot, only much bigger. Storms like these can rage on Neptune for years, and scientists are still trying to understand how they form and why they eventually disappear. Like all the giant planets, Neptune has rings, but they're faint and difficult to see from Earth. That's because they're made up of dust particles rather than big chunks of ice like Saturn's rings. And speaking of things that are hard to see, Neptune has 14 moons that we know of. One of them, Triton, is actually bigger than the dwarf planet Pluto. Triton is a really interesting moon because it orbits Neptune in the opposite direction of Neptune's rotation. That's like walking backwards on a moving walkway. Wow! Wasn't that an amazing trip through our solar system? We've learned about scorching hot planets like Venus, ringed wonders like Saturn, and even sideways spinning Uranus. From the massive sun to the distant and icy Neptune, each planet has its own unique story to tell. Remember, the more you learn about space, the more exciting it becomes. So keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep looking up at the stars. You never know what incredible discoveries are waiting to be made. Thanks for joining me on this cosmic adventure, and remember, science rules. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button for more educational videos. Thank you, adventurers.